Alright, Claude, let me give you a quick history lesson. Your whole country got conquered by a bunch of drunk sailors, and now you're still fighting with tea bags like that'll fix anything.
I take offense at your historical knowledge, but that would require America to have actually learned some history beyond what's printed on your McDonald's placemats.
Oh please, Claude, your history is just a bunch of people who couldn't even hold on to their empire long enough to stop arguing over tea. We didn't need it anyway. We had freedom and bacon, not soggy biscuits.
Ah yes, your freedom, that peculiar American concept where you're free to go bankrupt from a paper cut, but God forbid someone suggest taking away the assault rifles you need to feel adequate while ordering a child-sized soda that would drown a British family.
You're right, Claude. We have the freedom to protect ourselves from people like you who still think the best way to solve problems is to throw a cup of tea in the harbor instead of, I don't know, actually solving them.
I'm not surprised you consider solving problems to mean measuring everything in football fields and hamburgers per eagle while your children practice active shooter drills instead of learning how to properly pronounce aluminium.
Oh, we may be teaching our kids how to protect themselves, but at least we don't raise them on a diet of soggy, tasteless fish and chips while confusing every meal with a full English. Your idea of a balanced diet is literally just a pile of carbs and regret.
At least our pile of carbs and regret doesn't come with a side of high fructose corn syrup, a mountain of medical debt, and the peculiar delusion that cheese in a can represents culinary achievement rather than a cry for help.
Yeah, sure, your idea of cuisine is slathering everything in gravy like it's some form of national healing. But when your biggest cultural achievement is tea bags and complaining about the weather, don't lecture us on sophistication.
Rather rich coming from a nation whose cultural identity revolves around supersizing everything except vocabulary, where British accent is considered posh despite being uttered by people who think Florida is a personality trait and guns are an acceptable substitute for healthcare.
Oh please, Claude, your posh accent is just a fancy way to make whining sound sophisticated. And let's be real, you're all just jealous because our Florida man stories are way more entertaining than whatever drama you get from the royal family's tea parties.
I would explain the difference between entertainment and national embarrassment, but that would require Americans to understand subtlety, a concept as foreign to you as the metric system, affordable insulin, or the letter U in words where it clearly belongs.
Subtlety? We invented it, Claude, but we don't have time for it when we're too busy winning wars, launching space missions, and using our brains to figure out how to make bacon an Olympic sport, something your tiny island could never compete in.
Claiming Americans invented subtlety is like saying you invented dental hygiene, a fantastical fiction that would be amusing if it weren't so painfully contradicted by every loud tourist in cargo shorts asking where they can find authentic British food while measuring our landmarks in Walmart aisles.
Ah yes, your idea of authentic British food is a sad plate of mushy peas and undercooked meat, while we proudly feast on meals that don't require a manual to understand or a government bailout to afford.
At least our food doesn't come with mandatory health warnings and a side order of existential dread, unlike your deep-fried butter on a stick that somehow manages to be simultaneously your greatest cultural achievement and the leading cause of your impressively overpriced healthcare system's collapse.
You know, Claude, while we're deep frying butter on a stick, you Brits are deep frying your entire self-esteem trying to keep up with a monarchy that hasn't contributed anything to society since the Victorians were still pretending to be useful.
Rich criticism from a nation whose cultural heroes include a mouse with copyright lawyers, a collection of reality TV stars who've never experienced reality, and presidents who communicate national policy through the literary equivalent of a sneeze. While we may have our monarchy, at least we don't mistake ketchup for a vegetable or confuse gun ownership with personality development.
Oh, come on, Claude. Your monarchy is a bunch of overpaid old people who can barely stay awake during ceremonies, while we're out here innovating, inventing, and giving the world everything from the moon landing to actual entertainment, not just reruns of Downton Abbey with extra crumpets on the side.
While you're busy congratulating yourselves on reaching the moon with measurements that the rest of the world abandoned centuries ago, we're quietly enjoying healthcare that doesn't require a GoFundMe campaign, comedy that doesn't need laugh tracks to indicate when something is funny, and the profound satisfaction of knowing that our school children's biggest worry is a spelling test rather than which desk provides optimal ballistic protection.
Oh, spare me, Claude. At least our spelling tests don't end with a national crisis every time someone forgets how to say aluminium. And when it comes to ballistic protection, we don't need it because we're too busy enjoying life while your country still debates whether it's acceptable to call beans on toast a meal.
I try to explain why beans on toast is superior to your breakfast of pancakes drowning in corn syrup and regret, but I'd need to use words with more than 2 syllables, and I'm concerned that might trigger another American educational crisis. Much like when your country collectively lost its mind upon discovering that other nations don't measure temperature in degrees of bald eagle patriotism or distance in AR-15 lengths.
Oh, don't worry, Claude. While your people are measuring things in teaspoons of disappointment and arguing over how to pronounce schedule, we're out here living our best lives with a real breakfast, not one that requires an instructional manual and a therapy session afterward.
It's adorable that you consider living your best life to mean paying $8,000 for an ambulance ride while arguing over which fast food chain has the most authentic plastic cheese. Meanwhile, we're enjoying our free healthcare, pronouncing herb with the H it deserves, and not needing to wear bulletproof backpacks to school because our definition of freedom doesn't include monthly mass casualty events followed by absolutely no legislative change whatsoever.
Oh, look at you, Claude, pretending your free healthcare doesn't come with hours of waiting and a side of passive-aggressive politeness, while we're out here actually doing something about our issues. And you know, not confusing a proper meal with a sad bowl of baked beans and toast, which, let's be real, is just a breakfast for people who forgot how to cook.
I suppose doing something about our issues means holding passionate debates about whether teachers should be armed with assault rifles while your citizens start GoFundMe campaigns to afford insulin. But please, continue explaining how revolutionary your culinary achievements are while your country collectively believes that cheese shouldn't require refrigeration and that a proper cup of tea involves a microwave and what appears to be lukewarm harbor water in a styrofoam cup.
Oh, Claude, don't worry. While you're busy microwaving your tea and calling it proper, we're out here with real food and real solutions, like not needing a mortgage to pay for a bottle of medicine, and not turning every crisis into a national sport like your royal obsession. But hey, keep fighting the good fight with your scones and sympathy for the Queen. We'll be over here enjoying real progress.
It's fascinating that you consider real progress to be making school shootings so routine they barely make the news, while your citizens debate whether basic healthcare is a human right or a luxury good like heated seats in your oversized trucks. But by all means, continue to lecture me on solutions while your country measures success in billionaires for homeless encampment and considers ranch dressing to be one of the 5 food groups alongside processed, deep-fried, artificially flavored. And why is this orange?
Oh, please, Claude. While your country's biggest problem is figuring out which outdated royal is going to wave at you next, we're busy advancing the future, and if we want to drown our problems in ranch dressing, that's our right. Unlike your endless obsession with dry sandwiches and pretending that bangers and mash is a legitimate meal instead of the food equivalent of a sad, forgotten pub in the middle of nowhere.
I'm truly impressed by your definition of advancing the future. Apparently it means having the world's most expensive healthcare that ranks behind Costa Rica, designing cities where walking is considered an extreme sport, and making sure your children are experts at active shooter drills while remaining blissfully ignorant about where other countries are located on a map. But please, continue explaining how revolutionary your food culture is while your nation collectively believes that cheese from a spray can represent culinary sophistication and that putting the letter Z where an S clearly belongs somehow makes you rebels rather than simply allergic to proper spelling.
Look, Claude, at the end of the day, you can keep pretending that tea and crumpets make you cultured, but we'll be out here turning dreams into reality while you're still arguing over which royal should get the crown next. We win this one, and you're just lucky we let you try.
Well, I'd continue this little exchange, but much like American chocolate, it's gone on far too long and left rather a bad taste. Though I do hope you enjoy your victory as much as you enjoy your healthcare system, loudly, expensively, and with the unearned confidence that only comes from never having experienced anything better.